Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Recovery Classroom. My name is Drew. I am an alcoholic through and through, and today, by the grace of God, I'm a recovering alcoholic. We want to welcome you to this platform regardless of what your addiction may be. You're absolutely 1,000% unequivocally welcome here. We support your pathway, all pathways to recovery. Whatever your pathway looks like for you, we're just happy you're here. We're here to help, and we want to make sure that it works for you. I want to kind of touch base about yesterday's monologue, and I think I made a pretty compelling argument as to why we did not accept or adopt the AA traditions. Specifically, we started a group, and Bill Wilson himself wrote in the Grapevine, 1958, don't call yourself an AA group. If you're a multi-purpose group, if you're trying to reach people other than alcoholics, do not call yourself an AA group. So because of that, we decided not to accept the AA traditions. And then I want to flip it around for a second. Let's say we did. Wouldn't we be violating, first of all, Bill Wilson's direct instruction to not call ourselves an AA group, and then we're operating by traditions that were created for the AA group. And to me, that just sounded a little bit disrespectful. And so again, I want to reiterate, we're not trying to disrespect the AA traditions by any means. We too are just a collection of drunks and drug addicts that want to communicate the message. As a matter of fact, I made this comment about a week or so ago that if I could, understanding of course that AA was the only thing that worked for me, the 12 steps of recovery as outlined in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, that was the only thing that worked for me to get me clean and sober. That was it. So if I could, if I had an absolute 100% certainty that every single person that walked through that door, every single one, would take my advice, would listen to what I had to say, and act upon my suggestions, I would love to steer them to AA. If anything, me and my friends, we're trying to get them into a 12-step program. Now, keep this in mind, though. I'm a drunk. I'm a recovering alcoholic. My friends, they're recovering alcoholics and recovering drug addicts. So who are we to tell this person you have to go to AA? That's why we would never do that. And that's why we always say, whatever pathway works for you, we're just here to help. Granted, at the end of the day, I would love to point everybody into AA because I know for a fact that's what worked for me. Some of my friends, they may want to point somebody to NA or AA or whatever A because they know that that's what worked for them. But who are we to tell people how they have to recover? So, I digress. I want to talk a little bit more in depth about the traditions of AA. And draw some parallels to what we as a group, a non-AA group, are trying to do. The first tradition of Alcoholics Anonymous is our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends upon AA unity. I understand that they have to protect and defend the fellowship. I understand that they have to protect and defend the group, because if not, without the group, how are we going to reach people? How are we going to reach those still sick and suffering alcoholics? Bill is very specific. How are we still going to reach those people? So I understand we have to look out for the common welfare of everyone within the group. I just think that's been misinterpreted. As a matter of fact, I might even go so far as to say, shouldn't it be the opposite? Shouldn't we be looking out for the member of the AA first? Because without the members, there is no group. I mean, I could be wrong, but without the members, there is no AA group. There is no group of people sitting down saying, hey, let's start a meeting and let's start a group and let's reach as many people as possible. So in my mind, I understand where they're coming from on this, where Bill's coming from on this. But I find it fascinating that with that tradition, the group is supposed to put the common welfare of the entire group first before the individual. I'm not sure that's the best approach, but that's not for me to decide. I mean, that's why that's another reason why we said, okay, we may be getting into murky waters here. So we don't want to try to interpret and apply our own interpretation of what Bill Wilson was trying to write. For our group purpose, there is but one ultimate authority, a loving God as he may express himself in our group conscience. Our leaders are but trusted servants. They do not govern. Well, Okay, so basically the group conscience. Again, these traditions are outlining rules of operation for the group, not the person, but the group, and that makes sense to me. That truly makes sense to me. People within the meeting, within the group, they get together and they vote on issues. My challenge there is that's what we do. That's the same thing we do. Again, we just don't call ourselves a group. We just don't swear, fidelity to the traditions. But that's what we do. That's what many other folks do. So how is that different? I'm not sure I'm clear on how that is different. Tradition number 3, the only requirement for AA membership is a desire to stop drinking. My immediate question there is, why is that not listed first, maybe second? Why is that listed as the 3rd tradition? Because again, I go back to my question that I posed earlier. Without the member, there is no AA group. So in order to become a member, shouldn't that member want to have a desire to stop drinking? And so I'm a little perplexed as to why it's listed 3rd. It's the 3rd tradition rather than maybe the 1st or the 2nd tradition. And again, I'm not knocking anybody here. I'm simply articulating some of the things, some of the correlations that we saw that we did not want to get into. We did not want to get into those waters trying to interpret and apply Bill Wilson's meaning and intent behind these traditions. Each group should be autonomous except in matters affecting other groups or AA as a whole. Again, it's used twice, the word groups. Again, we're talking about groups. So our group should not affect, try to affect what another group is doing. That's fair. I get that. I 100% get that. Our group does not try to tell other groups what to do or how to do it, how to operate. And so in that regard, I get that. So why would one AA group want to try to tell another group, internal or external to AA, how to operate? Again, that goes against that right there in and of itself, violates the tradition. Each group has but one primary purpose: to carry its message to the alcoholic who still suffers. I pose the question, should that not be listed 1st or 2nd? Should maybe 2nd, I guess. Wouldn't we want to have our members, first and foremost, we'd have to have our members, and those members working the 12 steps. So step 12 is we got to carry the message. So you have to have members, and those members have to be willing to carry the message. And if all these members came together to make a group, shouldn't tradition 5, shouldn't that take care of tradition 5? And so to me, again, that's murky waters. Why would I want to get into trying to interpret and apply that within the group of drug addicts and alcoholics that we work with? Tradition 6, AA group ought never endorse, finance, or lend the AA name to any related facility or outside enterprise, lest problems of money, property, or prestige divert us from our primary purpose. And this is one that we've talked a lot about lately anyway. If you go in and read the AA traditions, how it developed, pamphlet number 17, there's a whole section on there called clubs, and basically it's outside of the AA group. It's a collection of people from many different groups, but they do not have anything to do with the AA group itself, right? And so I encourage you to go read that in that section of the pamphlet. But in short, the endorsements, that stems from money and property and authority, right? That's why they say we should endorse. But why wouldn't AA want to endorse those people not seeking money, property, and prestige, when AA asks those same members to endorse AA? Yeah, I thought it was a reciprocal relationship there. So again, these are the first 6 traditions. We will cover the next 6 tomorrow. And again, I am not trying to knock anybody. I'm simply trying to articulate that these are questions we had that we did not want to try to venture into those murky waters. We didn't want to try to interpret and execute Bill Wilson's vision for these traditions. And so that's why we said, one, he told us not to call ourselves an AA group, and he gave us these traditions that we had questions about. So we said, no, we're just not going to do it. Again, we did that out of respect for AA and not trying to be disrespectful. So I'll let you guys go. Thank you guys for letting me come in and share 5 to 10 minutes of your day with you. You guys absolutely keep me sober. I could be more appreciative. We'll talk again tomorrow, tradition 7 through 12. Remember, guys, you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.